I'm taking the strap. I'm strapped up.
What's happening? What was that about?
Let's make the fight happen. We strapped the fuck up.
Go. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 91 of the Strap SZN Podcast. I'm your boy Kam.
I'm your boy Flowz.
And as always, guys, please make sure you check us out on the streaming platforms. If you head over to our Instagram and our Twitter, there's a link in our bios on both of those platforms, and that has all my links link in the URL. And that URL there takes you to all of our streaming links, whether you're Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. If you'd like to be a visual sort of person, we're on YouTube as well. That's all there. Please like, subscribe, give us a review. That's Strap SZN Podcast for Instagram and Strap SZN Pod on Twitter. But yeah, man, how you doing, bro? You good?
Yeah, I'm good still. I'm good.
Yeah? Your head's cleared now, yeah?
Oh, I'm calm.
Football's done, but boxing's always still here, innit? So let's get cracking, man. It's been another good week. I feel like we say that every week, but boxing keeps delivering, and we're always here to talk about it. Two cards really to talk about. We'll start over here on these shows as we normally do. The big Joshua Buatsi versus Craig Richards card. Let's start with the undercard first, because I want to get straight into possibly the fight of the night, and that's the Babic versus, oh gosh, I've forgotten his name.
Adam Balski.
Balski. Oh boy,
Yeah.
In fact, I want to give him justice in it. So let me actually get his name up properly, because Adam Balski. Yeah. Yeah, man. Let's get straight into this one, because as always with Babic's sort of fights, we knew it was gonna be highly entertaining. And this was no different. From start to finish, rounds 1 to 10, this was a bridgerweight scrap of the ages, to be honest. Yeah, man. Where do I start? We know what we're gonna get with Babic. Same old. I think after his last performance against the French guy, I know you remember who I'm talking about. He wasn't too happy with his performance. I guess he faced a stiffer test than he anticipated. And we've always talked about Babic's come forward, crowd pleasing, just throw haymaker style, which is amazing to watch, and it makes for a good scrap. But as we said, whenever he faces someone that can actually box, or who can actually is competent in there, that style just might not work. And we've seen that from round one. I mean, in round one, Babic has come forward as the bell's rung, raced forward, started throwing bombs. This Balski guy in the back foot straight away. He catches him as Babic is coming in, towards the back of the head. And we've seen Babic touch the canvas. I think it was like a minute into the first round, wasn't it, Flowz? I think it was very early doors.
It might have been like 30 seconds into it. It was quick.
It wasn't like a heavy knockdown. In terms of that, it was one that, obviously, like I said, back at the head, that kind of discombobulates your senses a little bit, and sort of like a flash sort of knockdown, but a knockdown nonetheless. And that told me straight away that this Balski guy, he's decent. He can box a little bit. He's got on the back foot. He's able to pick his shots, time Babic when he came in. And it just had me thinking, this style that Babic comes with, it is so fun to watch, but it's got so many flaws for it. The flaws are crazy. He leaves himself open. He comes forward. He doesn't really work behind the jab, just throws big winging shots. And if you have good footwork and good timing, you can time my man. Obviously, if you have power, you can drop him, which is obviously what we saw from this Balski guy. But that kind of set the tone, because obviously I know that we've seen Babic touch the canvas before, and it doesn't really deter him. He still comes with the same sort of game plan. I'm going to come forward and I'm going to turn this into a war of attrition, and eventually I'm going to break you down. But I think what made this fight so exciting was this Balski guy was game as hell as well. And he was happy to trade with Babic in portions. He was really on the back foot for the most of the fight, but he was competent enough to be able to box in the back foot, catch Babic coming in, throw off his own shots. So yeah, you can just imagine, Flowz, obviously the type of atmosphere that created and the fight, the kind of fight it was. I can't lie, bro. I was impressed by this Balski guy. I didn't really know too much about him. I don't know if you did, but he actually impressed me thoroughly. And I think there were times where I thought to myself, I'm liking his work a lot more than Babic's. Like, to me, he's doing the better, cleaner work. He's catching him in. He's got the cleaner shots, the cleaner counter punches. I like seeing that. So to me, I was really enjoying what this Balski guy was doing. But at the same time, I knew that Babic, he's such a tough man. And as I said, with him, it's always a war of attrition. He eventually just breaks you down just because of his activity. And even though to me, Balski was doing the better work, Babic's pressure and constant, activity was helping him to win rounds after that first round knockdown. So you was there. I mean, yeah. How did you see it playing out? I mean, from rounds 1 to the middle rounds. I mean, even though he suffered the early knockdown, do you have Babic winning the subsequent rounds after that?
Yeah, like you say, it was for starters, it was a brilliant fight, man.
Yeah,
sick fight. But that's what you get with Babic. You expect that. He's one I definitely wanted to tune in as part of the card. The first knockdown, he didn't seem too hurt. I don't remember him being. He should have been. He should have had a knockdown before. Has he actually touched the canvas before? I think there was one he should have been a knockdown.
The last opponent, the French guy, I'm pretty sure he went down there, no?
I don't think it counted.
I think the ropes
kept him up.
Okay. Maybe I'm counting that as a knockdown because he should have been. Yeah.
I think the ropes kept him up and it weren't counted or something. So I think it's the first time he's had a count. Yeah, from the ref. But he didn't seem too hurt because he got up straight away. And I think he kind of caught off balance because he comes in so wild and aggressive. And especially early on, he has no intention to jab. So yeah, he got caught.
Yeah.
Balsik, I wasn't too familiar with Balsik or Balsik, however you say his name.
Balski, yeah.
Balski, yeah.
Yeah.
Weren't too familiar with him. So while I was watching, I was like, let me check up on my man. Yeah. 16 fights, 1 loss to Masternak, who we know faced Tony Bellew.
Yeah.
So, and he looks like he's an experienced guy. He's not some guy they've picked off the street. Looks like he's the most experienced fighter Babic has been in with.
Yeah.
And that was on display in terms of the skill. You were seeing someone who could box and move, who was trying to time Babic in those exchanges as well. Could take his power, which was great for 10 rounds as well. So yeah, watching it was tough to score because when Babic pins you down and unloads, even if it does like catch gloves and whatnot, they look meaningful. They're breaking through guards. He doesn't really go to the body, Babic, but he's going for the head. And anytime he goes for the head, and there was a few times he looked like he hurt him. But Balski was game as well. He was replying, he was responding. So it was tough to score. And when you're watching Babic fights, I'm not really scoring. I can't lie to you. Yeah. I'm not really scoring.
I always intend to start scoring, but then it just goes out the window because I think because you're seeing so much activity in front of you, so much unloading in front of your eyes, it just goes a bit out the window. I will say this though, Flowz, because it was a highly enjoyable fight, but at the same time, it was also a very messy fight. And I think the amount I don't think I've seen so many huge swings and misses in a fight before until this one, in terms of from both fighters.
Yeah.
The amount of times, they were just throwing big wide haymakers that were telegraphed, and both guys were just ducking under the punches and stuff. Especially Babic. You know what Babic must have missed so many shots. So from what I'm watching it on my TV, I'm just seeing hella shots being missed, just catching hella air. And Balski was the same as well, because when he tried to unload, it was the same thing. Yeah. So yeah, in terms of skill wise or just quality wise, it was very, very messy and poor in that regard. But mad exciting because you got two men that are very game, happy to swing, just be on swingers from round 1 to round 9, which was really good.
Yeah.
But I did notice something, Flowz. As I said, it was very back and forth. Obviously, they're both game, both swinging and whatnot. And I said something about obviously Babic doesn't tend to change game plans. It's the same throughout. But I noticed towards the latter rounds, towards the latter half of the fight, you're smiling. Babic started boxing a bit more.
He started jabbing.
Yeah. And that's when he started to pull away. Well, I mean, I think he was already up, obviously, on the scorecards and whatnot, but he then started to look, I think, Balski then really started to struggle, basically, when Babic actually started going behind the jab and actually setting up his work behind the jab and boxing a little bit. That's when Balski then started to like really, really break down. And obviously, Babic has said loads of times that he can box if he wants to. So I think it was quite nice to see that element from him, because obviously up until now, you haven't really seen him box with a jab, have we? So yeah, no, it was good to see that.
I think it's definitely a case of he must have realized that this guy can handle my power.
Yeah.
And we've seen his engine before. We've seen he's got an engine. I believe him when he says he can do it for however long, because even though he was working behind the jab, he was still his same march forward, try to unload, but he was trying to set up with the jab. Even if he weren't a stiff jab, he would use it to touch the gloves, find his range. So he was putting it out there, which is good to see at least. I think that's due to partly fatigue and partly the fact that Balski was taking his power. And then you can see Balski's tactic almost change, where he'd try to start the round off quick, try and coast to survive. And then when he heard the klaxon for the last 10 seconds, he'd unload. He'd unload and try to steal the round or try to catch Babic.
Yeah.
And he was doing something cheeky where he wouldn't stop throwing until the bell went. He would keep throwing until we heard the bell.
Yeah.
And I think we saw.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that segues us nicely into round 9, or the controversy that was round 9. I think at this point, yeah, we're seeing Babic clearly ahead of the scorecards. You're thinking, okay, yeah, he's starting to break down this guy, and Balski was kind of struggling at this point. Now, obviously, he had the clapper for the bell, the clapper for the 10 seconds. Balski's done his usual late flurry. And obviously, as the bell has gone, he's then caught Babic with a heavy shot. I think the bell had just gone, so Babic just kind of turned away, anticipating, like, obviously the referee, whatever, just end up and go back to his corner. And as the ref put his hand out between, like, to sort of get in between them, that's when Balski, I think he had already started throwing the shot, has caught Babic with this late shot. I think at the time I thought it was on the bell, but I think it might have just been after. But the damage was severe because Babic's legs went, didn't know where he was, staggering. He was really, really, really hurt. Yeah, man. For you, do you feel like that was on the bell or just after? Or was he just a little bit late? Because it was really tight. I won't lie, it was very, very tight.
I thought it was on the bell, to be honest. Maybe just after the bell, but I think he was letting his hands go. So
yeah, I think he was really emotional.
Yeah, he was already in motion, like he was throwing a combination, and he's been doing that. He's done it the previous round. Yeah, done it the round before where he unloaded the last 10 seconds and stop just after the bell. And the rules say protect yourself at all times, man. It's like you hear the bell and you just put your hands down. No, you don't do that. He got caught, and I knew because of how badly he was hurt, the ref is gonna help him out here. Give him time or something.
Yeah, he was really hurt. I mean, you can clearly see it. Like his legs were finished. So obviously, the next round's come now. The final round, 10th final round.
I even thought they were going to stop it. I can't lie.
Really?
He looked that bad. Like
he looked bad. Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if he's going to make it back to his corner. He was that bad. Well, credit to him for he stayed on his feet.
Yeah.
He was badly hurt though. Yeah.
But you can see at the corner, he used up every single second of allotted time in the corner within the 30 seconds before he had to come. Like the referee already said, all right, as in like final round. And this guy was still on his stool. Like they haven't got the stool out the way yet. He used every second possible. Obviously, before we start the 10th round, the referees deducted points. We deducted a point of Balski for the late shot. But obviously, you're there thinking, how hurt is my man? Has he recovered? 10th round comes, you saw Balski went straight at him. Babic attacked straight away. He unloaded because he knew this is his chance. Babic is weakened. He knows he's down on the scorecards. He's got to lay it all out. And he's come with a crazy flurry. And you're thinking, what? I'm there thinking, oi, Babic doesn't look good, He doesn't look great. Like, he's looking sluggish. You can still see he's feeling the effects of that shot. What's going to happen?
Bro, I was sat there. I was like, clinch, grab him up. I was like, Babic needs to coast this round. He needs to get on his bike and move it for the first time ever.
Yeah.
But I think it's Babic.
But it's Alan the Savage Babic. And we know this brother. We know what he's on about. And it's a testament to him being a warrior, the savage, you know, as he calls himself. He wasn't clinching. He was sitting there in the pocket. He was trying to unload his own work. As Balski sort of tired himself out, that's when Babic started going. That's when he started going.
Stalking him and walking him down. And he's still hurt.
Yeah, he's still clearly hurt. Flowz, I kid you not. That was one of the most exciting final rounds I've seen this year. Possibly, yeah, one of them. I'm not going to say the most because, I mean, we just the other week we saw Serrano Taylor final round. I'm saying, as a final round goes, incredible. Absolutely incredible. I was applauding on my feet. I was gassed. I thoroughly enjoyed that. They both went out swinging. As I say, credit to Babic because he was clearly hurt at the start of the round. He dug deep. He fought back. It then looked like he was going to stop my man. He caught him with a big shot later on, and Balski looked like he was going. I said, yeah, this guy's a G, man. I will always tune to watch this guy because he's so thoroughly entertaining to watch. He really is.
I was applauding, man.
Yeah.
It's edge of your seat stuff, standing up, clapping, because that last 10 seconds, they were both unloaded. And Babic, like I said, Babic is still hurt, but he's going for him. And I think he hurt my man. He looked like he was going to go down at one point. Yeah, man. These guys put all on the line for our entertainment. And yeah, it's brilliant to watch.
Yeah. Obviously, you saw both of them. The respect was there. Obviously, a long embrace after the final bell. Scorecards get read out. It's a Babic UD, which was fair to me. No controversy there. But hats off to Balski. Obviously, didn't know too much about him, but it was a real valiant effort. And as David Dinamante said when he sort of announced the winner, the savage train rolls on. I'm attuned to every Babic fight. I don't care. And what we said on this pod before still stands. Obviously, you know, the level, the more levels he sort of goes up, the harder it is for him to use his normal game plan. As we saw towards the end of this fight, he switched. He started getting, you know, behind the jab and stuff. And I think we're going to see more of that. We're going to have to if he wants to carry on being successful. But for now, I'm enjoying what he brings to the table now.
I think we're going to see, I think he's going to come out every fight the same way. And then he'll tap into those aspects of his game as he fatigues, as the rounds go on. But yeah, he's brilliant to watch. Yeah, whoever he fights, whenever he fights, I'm there.
Yeah, absolutely. He's pure entertainment, and he's, you know, on any card, tune into him. He's worth it. But yeah, great fight to sort of whet our appetites for the main event that we were so eagerly anticipating. Flowz. Joshua Buatsi, Craig Richards. I wouldn't say it was as good as the Babic fight, but still really to me a really good fight. Very enjoyable fight. We've seen Joshua Buatsi come away with a UD over Craig Richards, but boy, it was a tough fight for Buatsi. I think we said last week that this will be Buatsi's toughest test to date, and Craig will give him his hardest test, and he definitely did, in my opinion. He definitely did by far. Yeah, man, just jump straight in, man. Do you want to lead us off on this one, or do you want me to lead us off?
Yeah, let's kick off with the ring walk.
Okay.
Obviously, Joshua Buatsi come out first. I think even as the A side, you don't typically see that, but I think...
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you make of that, of Buatsi being the first to come out?
I think it was agreed in the contract or something that he'll come out. He doesn't mind. He'll come out first. His ego isn't that big. It's not for a belt. He's not a title holder. So he said he was happy to. I heard. So nothing to it. It's a ring walk at the end of the day. If people try to use it to play mind games and all that, but yeah, I don't think it makes a big difference in this situation. But yeah, it's funny because when he was in the ring and Craig Richards come in, he was hooking him down in the ring.
Buatsi's got some death stare on him, you know. He's got a serious death stare.
Following him as he's moving around the ring. I was like, yo, relax in your corner, big man. But it was funny. I was like, yeah. It just set up the fight nice. I was like, yeah, this is what we wanted. This is the energy we need to see, because we've said before in this point, once he steps in that ring, he becomes a killer. Yeah. All the niceties go out the window.
Yeah.
It means business. So yeah. And then obviously we get into the fight now. Both of them. Well, Buatsi comes out very aggressive. Very aggressive.
Yeah.
But obviously still trying to go behind the jab. And we said on the episode last week that he needs to control the level of aggression or how committed he is to it, because Craig is good, especially with the jab. He's the taller, longer reach, and he was landing his own 1-2s and landing his own jabs throughout the course of the fight, especially early on.
Yeah,
but they were both catching each other. It was a battle of the jabs.
Yeah,
very much early on. And
good battle as well, actually.
Yeah, and obviously Buatsi changes levels with his jab as well, goes to the body. But he was definitely throwing that right hand with intentions. He was trying to land the right hand from the get-go. So it was good to see that little strategic battle of the jabs. What did you make of the early rounds or the first round?
I think the first round, I actually think Buatsi came out too aggressive for my liking. I actually gave Richards the first round.
Me too.
Okay, good. Okay, cool. Yeah, I thought he was, and I had a feeling, like I said, we talked about this. Sometimes Buatsi has a tendency to come out mad aggressive, or not to come out mad aggressive, just to be over aggressive, almost over eager to impose his will and start throwing with mean intentions. And I do like him, obviously trying to impose his will. But like I said, you've got to know what you're dealing with. And Craig, as I said, is very good at timing, very good counter puncher. So to me, that first round, I thought Buatsi was a bit over aggressive. I think he wanted to make a statement, kind of, just to blast my man out of there and just show that, I'm levels, you know what I mean? Like, I think he wanted to make that kind of statement. And
listeners, go back to listen to the last episode. We said if he does that, Craig is gonna get onto him.
And this is why I thought Craig had the better. Obviously, towards the end of the final 10 seconds. Do you remember in the final 10 seconds of the first round, Buatsi was able to get him against the ropes?
Yeah, and
he started unloading, and the commentator was there getting gas. Oh, Craig's in trouble. And I said, but wait, Buatsi missed all those shots. Craig Richards, he rolled pretty much most of those punches, so nothing hit cleanly. And the commentators kind of gassed out and said, and I think they gave Buatsi the round off that. But I said to myself, Craig Richards has landed better shots this round. He's picked off Buatsi nicely when Buatsi's overextended himself. First round to me, Craig.
Interesting, because I haven't watched it back, but watching it, Craig Richards' hair, he doesn't keep it in a bun kind of thing. He braids it down, but then the back of his hair is like kind of floppy.
Oh yeah.
So anytime these shots were landing and he was rolling with them, you see his hair bubble, you see the sweat fly off his hair. Yeah. And I'm going, ooh, but I'm thinking he's not even hurt. So are these shots really landed? The
commentator said it a couple times during this fight that Craig is, when Buatsi will throw like a big flurry, they'll say Craig is hurt.
Okay. And I'm not listening to the commentary.
But I'm watching him thinking he's not hurt. He's actually rolled with a lot of his shots, or none of them have landed cleanly. But I guess maybe like I said, it looks like he's getting caught because obviously the hair's flying back or whatever. But second round, Buatsi's, I think Virgil's obviously spoken to him and told him to just work behind. I love I said Virgil, but I actually appreciate Virgil's corner working. Well, it looked like it worked anyway. So
he was under the microscope today.
But Buatsi's come a bit more settled in that second round to me and looked a bit better. And that's when you really saw the battle of the jabs work between both of them. It was, I think after that first round, all rounds were super close to me. Super, super close rounds. But I was given Buatsi the bulk of the rounds to me because of the fact that even though I appreciate what Craig was doing, Buatsi was, obviously, as you said, his punches looked like they had a lot more mean intentions. Like he was sitting behind his punches all the way. And Buatsi's a lot more explosive. And a lot of this fight actually was fought on the inside. And Buatsi, to me, has the better of the inside games between the two. In fact, Buatsi's inside game is actually underrated. It's actually really, really good. He's nasty on the inside. He's really good at almost trapping his opponent's arm and then using his free hand to maneuver around to create angles and throw shots. He's really good at doing that. And to me, he was getting the better of the inside game where a lot of what's happening. I think obviously Craig looked more comfortable when fighting that range. But my issue with what Craig was doing throughout this fight was, well, for the early portions, the middle portions was, even though he was able to time Buatsi well and catch him with good shots, good counter shots and stuff, and hit him with his jab, it was too infrequent in terms of Buatsi was throwing flurries and combinations a lot. Craig was just doing it off 1-2 shots. He wasn't following, like he would catch Buatsi with a good shot, but he wouldn't follow up. It was content to, I don't say admire his work, but it was almost overcautious, if you know what I mean. Yeah. I felt like Craig could have been a lot more positive and a lot more aggressive when he caught Buatsi going fire up with a couple combinations, etc. That's what Buatsi was doing. Buatsi would catch Craig, and it's immediate 3 or 4 punch combo. And to me, I thought Craig had to be a bit more aggressive in that sense. That's why I was sort of giving the rounds to Buatsi, just I guess off the aggressiveness, because they were both landing. They're both catching each other with good shots. But yeah, as I said, I wanted Craig to be you can't beat Buatsi just by firing off 1 or 2 shots. You got to be doing more.
Watching it, defensively, they're both not fantastic. They don't have enough head movement. They both get hit quite easily because their heads are very much stationary. They even like dip. Like Buatsi will try to get in on the inside, but the head movement isn't always there to get on the inside. He was happy to fight on the inside. He wanted to be on the inside, really. And that's what he was trying to do. But then Craig was picking him off with the 1-2s every now and then. Like just land a jab, ran for a 1-2. And he was almost doing the hit and not get hit, but he was getting hit kind of thing.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know, where you want to, like, if it's all well and good landing 1-2s and jabs all night. Yeah. If you're not getting hit, you can win the round, you can win the fight by doing that. If you've got the skill, but defensively, you've got to know when to step back, circle, upper body movement kind of thing to avoid these fights. Roll with the punches. They're not really doing that unless they're on the ropes or on the inside. So when they're mid-range or at range, they're quite easy to hit the both of them. So defensively, there's a lot to work on. But the thing is with Craig, he'll make every round competitive, but does he do enough to win the round?
Yes, exactly that. Yeah, literally.
He's cold. And this performance was better to me than the Bivol performance. You can see he's improved. Yeah. But did he do enough while the rounds were close, while the fight as a whole was close? Did he do enough to win every round to take the fight?
Buatsi was taking these rounds just off the strength of just a bit more activity. That's it, literally. It was, like I said, Craig got some nice shots in there, man. Peach shots, like great counter shots, great picking them off with the jab and stuff. But as I said, 1-2 shots, pot shots here, it's not going to work against someone like Buatsi, who is very active. Buatsi's so active. Like, he doesn't really let up. He applies pressure on you. And as I said, each punch thrown with mean intentions. His whole energy is hilarious to me, Buatsi, because the amount of times he was at the end of a round, he would stare down Craig. You remember the first round? He stared him down. They both stared each other down, looking at each other.
I need a picture of that. I need a picture of that one because that looks cold. So we just stood there for like 10 seconds, screwing each other.
Yeah, Buatsi's hilarious. But as we mentioned last week, and we said it before about Craig Richards, he seems to tend to come on strongly towards the end of the fight. And to me, if you notice in this fight, from what I saw, Craig then started turning it on towards the latter rounds. That's when he started to sort of get going. I think it was a catalyst for it was, do you remember the round 8?
Yeah,
which was the best round of the fight. Round 8, they were both swinging for the heels. They both caught each other. They both hurt each other, and they were both going at it in round 8. It was really good. I think Craig caught Buatsi first and sort of hurt Buatsi first.
Yeah.
And as Craig is then started going for the kill, Buatsi's instinct has kicked in and he's fired back and then caught Craig as well. And then suddenly Craig is now hurt. So Buatsi's trying to pounce. And then they're both just like going at it. It was, that round 8 I was applauding. Sick round. Definitely the round of the fight. And obviously you saw at the end, there was a little mini stare down at the end as well after the bellwether because they both hurt each other and they're both going for it. But I think that was sort of the catalyst for Craig to sort of then start to, it's weird that Craig, he seems to like, he starts off a bit cold and warms up to fights. But yeah, from round 8 onwards, he then was really warmed up. And I think Buatsi, I think there's been question marks about his engine sometimes. He does tend to tire towards the end of fights. can't remember the fight it was. Was it the fight before this?
Bolotniks, maybe.
Might have been Bolotniks, yes, where he was really gassed out. He had to get his second win back late on for him to finally sort of see that over the line. But Craig then started to come on strong towards the end of the fight to me. And he was doing what I was asking for before. Be more active. Not just setting down on one or two punches, throwing combinations, applying pressure to Buatsi. He then started to do that. In fact, and it was even portions towards the end of the fight where he was one almost trying to walk down Buatsi, little by little. So him obviously doing that late on, obviously I'm there thinking it's probably too little too late. But it just shows to me, like, obviously, you've warmed up to the adversity. You've warmed up to what the level of competition this is right now. And you're at least going to make these last couple of rounds uncomfortable for Buatsi. Obviously, every round was competitive anyways. But I'm liking this, what you're doing now. It's a shame it's coming so late, but it's the right thing to do. I want to see how Buatsi responds. And credit to Buatsi, he responded well. Even though Craig sort of turned up, he was happy to, I guess, meet him at the summit and also go back and forth with him, which was good to see. So yeah, for me, the last couple of rounds of this fight, like the latter portion of the fight, was definitely the most enjoyable for me because they were both going for it, and you can see they both wanted it.
Yeah, man. The fight was just a brilliant fight. But even you can see Buatsi's mentality. Anytime he thought Craig Richards would throw a low blow, he'd reply immediately with his own.
Yeah.
He wouldn't even wait for the ref to come in between. He'll do that. And they're both happy to give and take, if that makes sense. Neither fighter would want to retreat or back down. They're both happy to meet. And if one's unloading, the other one's happy to unload as well.
Mm-hmm.
It was a sick fight. I think once that 8th round, Buatsi looked really hurt because he was almost trying to clinch. And where previously in the fight, where it looks like Richards was hurt, and Buatsi would unload. There was a few times in that fight where he catch Spider with a good shot.
Yeah.
And I don't think he gauged whether Spider was badly hurt or not. He just thought, let me pounce because I've got a good shot here.
Yeah.
And I don't think Craig was really that hurt. He'd ride the shots and get out of it, and then he looked good on his feet afterwards. So I think that would have drained him as the fight went on. So after round 8, and he looked a bit more hurt initially, but then he hurt Spider, and Spider kind of backed off.
Yeah.
And he looked like, oh, he's hurt, like edge of the seat stuff once again.
Yeah.
And then they come out in round 9. I think he had a good round 9, but I think 10, 11, and 12, or maybe 11 and 12. Yeah, 11 and 12, I think it is. Buatsi got his second win back or started to dominate again, or look stronger in those rounds. I think I gave him 11 and 12. So I think 8, 9, and 10 Spider I gave, and then 11, 12 I gave to Buatsi. So yeah, it was a sick fight, back and forth stuff. Hard to score in a sense if you're getting carried away with the action and not focused. Yeah. I thought I guess when it comes to the scorecard, were you happy with the scorecard?
One was, two were 215, 113.
Yeah.
And the other one was 117, 111 or something, was it? No.
116 out and 111, I think it was.
Okay, that's, yeah. I'll be honest. I think I gave Buatsi the majority of the rounds. However, it wasn't, I say that not being in that, like Richard was getting washed. He wasn't. They were uber competitive rounds. All competitive. Like I said, I gave Buatsi the majority of them based off just a bit more activity compared to Craig. So, yeah, I can't really complain with the scorecards. In fact, I think the 116, 112 one, or 111 or whatever, that's not even bad. It's because they were close rounds to me, but obviously, if I'm picking the winner, I'm going to give it to Buatsi, which is why I had him winning the bulk of the round. So, yeah, I didn't really have any complaints on the scorecards. I mean, I don't recall seeing many complaints. I don't know if you saw other complaints coming from boxing spheres or anything like that. I don't remember seeing complaints, to be honest.
No, the consensus was that Buatsi was winning. A lot of people felt like Richards needed a knockout going into the latter rounds. Yeah. And once again, it's not a case that oh, this scorecard was wide, or this scorecard doesn't indicate the fight wasn't close. It's just you score it round by round.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you win the round by an inch or a mile. That round goes to whoever
it's
wins.
It's a 10-9. Yeah. That's just how it is. It's not like,
you can have a close fight.
You don't get brownie points for making it a close round. You know what I mean? Like, it's unfortunate. It's got to be a winner of a round.
Mm-hmm. You can have a close fight.
It was a really close fight. And like I said, the rounds were super competitive and Craig Richards can hold his head high. But yeah, Buatsi did enough to win. And yeah, fair play to him. You know, he did that. And obviously he was the favorite. Obviously, some people saw it as a 50-50. But obviously, I think most, and the bookies had Buatsi as a big favorite, I think. And I think we had Buatsi as a favorite. So yeah, it is what it is. But hats off to both fighters. I think I've come away now watching that fight. The first thing I actually thought when obviously once the final bell went, scorecards are read out and stuff, and obviously Buatsi's got the W. The first thing I thought is, this guy's not ready for Bivol. This guy's not ready for Beterbiev. He's obviously, they're talking about obviously now. I think that was eliminated, right? So now he's going to be mandatory. This is for the WBA. So is that the one? Does Bivol have that one?
Yeah, that's Bivol.
That's Bivol's one. Yeah, obviously Eddie Hearn saying he wants to get him a title shot, etc. That's next up. It can't happen, man. I would advise against it.
Well, Virgil wants to have one more before they go into,
which is smart. I think they need two more minimum.
You see,
I won't even go as far as say Flowz. I won't even go as far as three more. But I tell you the three. No, it needs to be domestic level.
You want him to wait out the Russians, make them get old before.
Do you think he's ready?
Well, we said this last episode. The last time he fought that he's not ready. It was the same. It was the same week where I think maybe Virgil Ortiz or someone fought.
Yeah,
maybe the week after where we said Virgil Ortiz is ready, but Buatsi, you're not ready after the last fight.
Yeah,
and I didn't feel like this fight would make him ready. This fight would be another learning fight. It was the level. It's the learning he needed. This is his toughest test. But you can't go from even Craig Richards stepping up for Bivol. We said it was crazy. We said it's nuts. He's not ready for Bivol yet. So and obviously he put on. He could be. Well, his stock rose after that Bivol fight, and his stock has risen even more.
Canelo, yeah.
Which I question anyway, because same again. Even though the rounds were competitive, Bivol won damn near every round to me.
He did. Yeah,
he could give Richards 2 or 3 rounds in my eyes in that fight anyway. But I don't think Buatsi is ready for Bivol, and we've said for time that look, they might never be ready for them, man. It might be a case where them man are just too good. Like, we need to see a performance like, you're ready now, and you need to go through the levels to do that. I don't think next is right. I think he can have 1 more, 2 more before facing Bivol.
Let's say 2 more. I think 2 more, but at this domestic level here.
And who would that be against?
So the other ones in discussion, whether it's Yard, Arthur, Callum Johnson, as in someone, because to me, right, the UK domestic light heavy scene is, in terms of the contenders in this domestic light heavy scene, they're better than most of the other contenders out there in terms of like other world level that you consider, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm happy to keep it in-house in the UK, because it's a high level competition. Okay. This obviously showed this was Buatsi's toughest fight to date, and it was a domestic opponent, a high level domestic opponent. These other guys, Johnson, Yard, Arthur, Aziz, I think they're also going to be equally very, very tough fights. So Buatsi fighting 2 more of these should get him the level, get him the experience and, help him attain a level that obviously I'm not going to say is as good as the Russians, but it will prepare him better as opposed to him fighting another random European or whatever. Or I'm trying to think who's light heavy, who over there in America that's light heavy, that's highly regarded.
Is Benny Jack still light heavy?
Is he light heavy? Wait. Yeah, he is.
He is. Benny Jack.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
Pascal.
Don't you dare mention Pascal. Don't you dare.
Did he not fight recently, or is he fighting soon? He's fighting soon.
Jean Pascal. He's back. He's back from the ban. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's fighting soon, or he fought recently. Marcus Brown, all them man is still alive.
Okay, yeah, Marcus Brown and Babic are cool. Yeah, I can say those guys are good. I rate those guys high enough. I don't know who else on European train, but I'm just basically trying to say that I think this level is good enough to prepare you before you go and fight these Russians, because the UK, like I said, I rate the UK level, current domestic. I think we've got a really good crop, and they're all good. So yeah, maybe have one more domestic opponent, and then the second one can be a Babic or Marcus Brown before you then finally step in against the Russians. But as of right now, I don't want to hear no talk of Buatsi's next opponent will be for the title. No. It can't happen. He's not ready.
I don't think he's. He'll have to. I don't think he's mandatory yet. So this was an eliminator, but I think it was like an eliminator for interim or something. Too many belts is confusing. But I like what you said. One more domestic one. I'm not sure who's even available. Maybe Callum Smith. That's a hell of a tough fight.
Callum Smith again. That's a high level fight.
Yeah, that's a tough. Even that one, I wouldn't even jump into Callum Smith one next. Yeah, maybe pick off someone else. I don't know.
And Aziz, maybe.
Dan Aziz, he should beat Dan Aziz.
I'll back him to beat Dan Aziz. I think he's been, but I think that's a good point. I think that Aziz is really good as well. So
yeah, I don't think it's a step up from Richards though. I don't think.
Okay, Yard.
I would like to see that, but once again, I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't even think.
Obviously, I thought Arthur. Given that Arthur is now a free agent,
Arthur would be a good one. Yeah,
that's a tough one. I think that's a really tough fight.
Arthur would be a good one to set up for a yard fight. Use him as a yardstick almost.
No pun intended.
Yeah. And I like, but I was even thinking about Spider and Arthur could be a good one. And bounce back. So I guess we'll talk about Spider's options in a second. But I think Buatsi needs two more at least. At least. Yeah. A domestic one. It's funny. Shaka Peters was local and sitting next to him, and you can see.
I rate Peters. Peters is really good as well, but I think Buatsi is a level above him at the moment. I think. Yeah.
Well, in fact. Yeah, there's options out there. Whoever Eddie Hearn could muster for him. I think Virgil wants one more to work on a few things. So maybe a Dan Aziz could be good to keep him active, to have him working on a few things. Then moving up to a Marcus Brown, Badu Jack, whoever. You
have a preference between Brown and Jack? Just wondering. No preference for you. Don't matter to you. Okay, cool.
Yeah, then you can move up to one of the Russians.
Yeah.
Because I think, I want to step in with Jean Pascal, because boy, the way he was throwing haymakers that yo.
Oh my gosh, that guy will always make me laugh, man. Pascal's hilarious. In press conferences, he's underrated as well. Very, very funny in press conferences. But yeah, you mentioned it. Spider's options. He shouldn't be deterred. Obviously, this is a tough loss because it's against a domestic rival. But yeah, I think you saw enough from Spider in that fight to show that he's still got, he can still offer a lot. 100%. Yeah, I think Spider could have a world title shot again one day. I think he's good enough. He's just got to, I guess, Buatsi aside, maybe just try and rise to the top again in the domestic light heavy scene. I would actually like to see Dan Aziz Spider. I think that's a really good fight.
Yeah.
I don't know if that'd be hard. I don't know what. It's probably be hard to make, given how the way the Zone and Sky are beefing these days. But, I would like to see that if that's possible. Yes, I think Spider's fine. I think he'd be calm.
I think his stock's risen again. I don't think his stock's dropped. This was another fight that he didn't need to take, but he's not ducking any smoke.
Yeah,
he's always willing to take it. I like him v Arthur.
Yeah,
I think whoever wins that is immediately back on the scene.
Yeah,
because given their two good showings against Yard and Buatsi, I think whoever wins that is right back on the scene. So that's a good fight to make straight away if they're both on it.
Yeah,
it's interesting because I'm seeing a lot of people now downplaying Buatsi and saying, "Oh yeah, he's hype train derailed. He's terrible."
To be fair, Flo, they've been doing this. They've been trying to bring this guy. I don't know why.
They're saying hype train. There's like, this guy's not ready for anyone.
I think it's because of his association with AJ as well. That by default, people are trying to bring him down as well, and like, they don't like him. But
crazy comments. I was like, look, you lot were the same ones who just said that Spider Richards gave Bivol a tougher test than Canelo.
Yeah.
That Spider's this and that now after the Bivol fight. And Bivol and Canelo are elite fighters, you're saying. And he gave an elite fighter a tougher test than another elite fighter. But based on Buatsi's performance against this so-called fantastic performer, now you're saying, Buatsi's washed and Eddie's fed us rubbish over the years. This guy isn't good enough. This guy is this and that. I was like, you lot are nuts.
Haters, man.
You were just hyping Spider, saying he's this and that. And now someone beats him. You're saying, nah, that person's washed and finished.
Yeah.
Spider's improved since the Bivol fight.
He has.
And Buatsi's fought a tougher version and done well. Maybe weren't as convincing, but he's done well. So both of them, their stock has risen. I think they both can operate at a world level. It's just whether they beat these two these Russians, which is the issue. Like there's go on.
So no, I was just gonna say. So obviously, my man is mandatory. Well, not in the slot. Obviously, WBA Bivol. So Yard is Yard Beterbiev then, or is he Joe Smith?
I think he's. I don't know. When he gets the winner of Joe Smith Beterbiev, I think he's
okay.
He's on Joe Smith's, but obviously Frank.
It might be Joe Smith. Yeah,
I've done a deal, so
yeah,
the winner of that fight, he gets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair. That's why I was just chilling for that. Really, he's not. Yeah, he's not going to fight again until.
Which is crazy.
Again, with the Kovalev thing, we said was crazy. This Yard, I mean, this whole not just sit and wait, not be active and wait for the shot again, crazy. I disagree with that move as well, but they've done what they've done. Fair enough. But yeah,
a good move for him was to be fired. What's his name? The other Russian who Joe Smith beat, Vlasov.
He's actually good as well. He's decent. Yeah,
that's a good option for Yard or Buatsi.
Yeah,
while they're waiting, that would be a good first step or second step before fighting one of these other guys.
True.
Activity is key, man. These guys can't sit on the couch.
For real, man. For real. And you've seen it so many times. They bite people in the arse when they're not active. A good young fight has to be active, man. It has to be. But yeah, fair enough. Big win for Buatsi and good showing from both of them. I enjoyed the fight. It was, some high level stuff in there. There was enough spite in there from both of them as well at times. I look forward to both of their next moves, but Craig Richards isn't done or anything like that. I still think he's got plenty to offer, and Buatsi is still learning. This is only his 14th fight or whatever. He's still fairly young in his boxing career. He's still got time.
They can even run it back.
Yeah, they could run it back. Yeah, 100%. Just quickly before we move on to the next one, we happy with Virgil's corner work in there?
Oh, I don't know. The question is still out. The jury's still out on Virgil. Who was Buatsi trained by before?
I don't actually know.
Like the Olympic team still.
It might have been. Yeah, it might have been.
I don't know. I think time will tell with Virgil because, like I said, was it last episode we discussed it, or was it off?
It was last episode. Yeah, last episode we were up.
We need Virgil because
the lights are on you. The big lights are on you.
He's lucky that you found Andre Ward at 9 years old or whatever.
Yeah.
That was a super talent you found. I gave you a lot of credit for Andre's career, but I'm looking around at the other fighters and like, yo.
I hope he does right by Buatsi because that's one of our biggest talents. So we want to see him flourish.
Yeah.
All right, dope, cool. Let's move on to briefly talk about what happened over in America yesterday as well. Your boy Afro was in action. David Benavidez against David Lemieux.
Now we see why Canelo's backing him.
So last episode, you issued a challenge to Mr. Benavidez. You said, if you don't destroy this guy, I'm on to you.
Yep.
I think it's fair to say he heard your challenge, Flowz. He accepted it. And I think he passed the flying colours, right?
That the whole challenge was set up for him. Like Lemieux, yeah.
We said Lemieux's the perfect opponent for Benavidez. Yeah. Lemieux's going to be a guy who comes forward, and Benavidez will be able to pick him off nice and easy, right?
Offers no head movement, no movement whatsoever. In fact, perfect opponent.
Yeah, Lemieux tried to come in. He tried to do the Tyson thing, try and come in, bob and weave and whatnot. But this is a Lemieux that's, I guess, kind of almost past his sell-by date now. He's been around for a long time. He's not the same Lemieux as it was. He's never been the same since he lost to Golovkin, but
out of shape.
Yeah. To be fair, Lemieux's never looked the best shape. To be fair, he's actually always looked like that. Well, a lot of people said that. Oh, he looks out of shape. But if you don't, but I'm saying like
he's always been out. Yeah.
If you
he's at 168 now. It's because he's at 168 now. He looks a bit flabby around the edges. At 160, he looks a bit
better. But he's never been like a chiseled sort of person, if you know what I mean. But to be fair to Lemieux, he came through. He was game. The first round, he was trying to. You saw what his game plan was. Inside, big, because obviously Lemieux, he gives up a lot of height and reach to David Benavidez. So to him, obviously logically, he can do his best work when he's on Benavidez's chest, inside, and obviously he's trying to bang to the body early on, and just big hand shots to the body if he could. So yeah, I appreciate how game he was, but I think as soon as David Benavidez decided to unload properly, you saw where the class was. There's a huge gulf in class between the two fighters. You're literally watching a fresh fighter versus a jaded old fighter, and that's what it looked like. That's what it looked like seeing. I think the first proper, true, mean intention shots that Benavidez started throwing, you saw it caught Lemieux, because it was a bit of a firefight in that first round. They were both swinging, and both catching each other, but obviously Lemieux, Benavidez's work was crisper, faster, stronger. And then he was able to catch Lemieux flush with a combination. Lemieux's gone down. Like legs all wobbly, legged, all that kind of stuff. And then obviously, as soon as he got up, we saw the usual Benavidez.
Right, he didn't go down in the first round. He got saved by the bell.
Oh, yeah, he got saved. He got
caught with a left hook, wobbled, done the whole dance.
Yeah.
And then Benavidez jumped to him as friend.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's what I meant. It's as soon as he got hurt, I said before, one thing I like about Benavidez, his best attribute really is his combination punching.
Yeah.
He's electric, and his shot placement and his speed is beautiful. When he's in full flow, he's lovely to watch. So as soon as he saw that my man was hurt, we saw the usual Benavidez. He saw throw 5 left hooks in a row. He went crazy on him. And then obviously, saved by the bell. I thought, peak. This fight's done. Lemieux's face all bloodied, bashed up. Second round comes. I think Benavidez hit him early again, fast and early. Lemieux's in trouble again. His second round, he's dropped him. Dropped him in the second round. He basically dropped him through the ropes. But fair play to Lemieux, man. He tough. To be honest, the fight should have been stopped in the second round, if you ask me. But somehow Lemieux was able to survive, and he was fighting on heart. He was fighting on pure heart because he had no legs. He was just for pride. As a boxer, he's a warrior, proud guy. He sort of bit down his thumb shield, gritted his teeth, and tried to stick it in there, and it became almost like a firefight between both of them. But obviously, naturally, Benavidez is the quality. He's the class apart in there, and I think it's gotten to the third round now where I think the ref. Look at I think the corner might have stopped it, but the referee jumped him first, I think. But I think the corner was about to stop it anyway. So yeah, man, 3 rounds. That's all she wrote. He destroyed Lemieux as we expected. He did what he had to do, right, Flowz? So for you, what are you giving that performance out of 10?
It's not it's a 10 out of 10. He done what he needed to do. He won it convincingly. He didn't. It's what we expected. That's why I gave anything less than this would have been appalling. It would have been appalling. Lemieux was picked for this to happen, for him to destroy him, to get a highlight reel knockout. He didn't get that because he was stopped, but a highlight performance. Is there anything I could take away from this fight that says, oh, he's closer to beating Canelo, or I've seen something that makes me think he's progressed? No. This is what was expected. This isn't, okay, this is a step up. This is a good test. This was just a name on the resume and a tailor-made opponent picks for him. I rated the Benavidez. Let me reiterate, cold fighter, cold. But then the narratives now is he ready for Canelo? Where the narrative should be is how does he compare to these other ones, other competitors, the Charlos, the Caleb Plants, the Andrades. That's who we should be looking around, not straight towards Canelo, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Impressive win, cold performance. Does it put me any more into thinking, oh yeah, he's improved from the last fight or he's better now? I see progress. The answer is no.
Yeah. His resume still, I mean, you can probably still say that Derrell was a better opponent than Lemieux. So it's still up in the air in terms of, is he, I mean, he seems to think that he's deserving. But yeah, for me, it's still, I want to see you against these other names, not Canelo. Obviously, Jim Gray asked him, who do you want next? Charlo, Caleb Plant. The usual names. And maybe he's happy. Like he said, he told them, like, they're ducking me. Send me the contract. He said these bitches ain't ready. Like, these bitches are scared. That's literally what he said. He said he's willing to fight anyone, but these are the ones that aren't saying the contract. They're the ones that are not on it. But for him, whoever they put in front of him, he's looking to knock him down. And he truly believes he's the best 168 pounder. He said no one can live with him in his division. He's entitled to think that. But and maybe these lot aren't still in the contract. Maybe these lot aren't on it. I don't know. But it still doesn't take away from the fact that I don't think he deserves, whether he deserves a Canelo fight or not. I don't think he deserves a Canelo fight at all.
Who's not on it? Who's not on it? I'm confused. Half these Charlo's PBC, Caleb Plant's
and Plant's PBC, yeah. So that's why I don't know why it's been so, especially the Plant thing. Charlo I can allow because Charlo is technically a 160 pounder. But the Plant and Benavidez fight should have happened time ago. I don't get why it's taking so long to make. I guess maybe Plant was, to be fair, that whole division was on notice that Canelo was around, so they probably just waiting for the Canelo lottery. So they scrapped any plans of that. But really and truly now, Caleb Plant should be fighting David Benavidez. Or maybe you're going.
PBC is a business. That's what PBC. You just got to look at it as a business. They're not trying to make the best fight the best. Yeah. They're trying to make the most money.
Yeah, just pay-per-views all the time. Yeah.
So they'll just raise stars, and they use Caleb Plant as a chip to bring Canelo into their platform.
Yeah,
and it worked. So if they had Benavidez and Caleb Plant take each other out, they've lost one bargaining chip.
Yeah.
You see, let me say, use the term, they fed Caleb Plant to Canelo.
Yeah.
Before he was ready, they built him up, kept it at a nice level. He was a champion. Used him to get Canelo. Then with the recent offer, remember, they offered Benavidez and Charlo.
Yep.
That's two people now they could feed to Canelo to try and bring him over. If Benavidez and Charlo took each other out, then they've lost one. So that's what they do. They're just a business where they just raise the people. Errol Spence was put on the list as an offer to Canelo. What are they doing? These are 3 different weight classes that they try to sell off to. So they're a business. They're going to keep trying to maneuver in the right way, keep it in-house, and then set up certain fights that boost certain stars' profile. Best fight the best isn't in their business model. Yep.
Shame. Big shame. Canelo, obviously, we know Benavidez is not going to get Canelo next. Obviously, Canelo's tied to obviously DAZN now for the foreseeable future. So, boy, unless they plan on keeping on doing these kind of shows, as in the Lemieux of the world, boy, you better go fight. You lot better work something out, and you better fight each other. Charlo, you better fight each other because, Canelo's gone for now. He's not here yet, so he's got that deal with DAZN, couple fight deal or whatever, and he's got a rematch sort out with Bivol now apparently. So to keep the fans happy, we're gonna have to see these fights. Simple as, really, if you ask me. But well done to Benavidez. Obviously, he did what he had to do. It was nice to see. I hope he needs to stay active. So I think they talked about maybe fighting again in November. We'll see who that's against. Probably won't be Caleb. He probably won't be Caleb Plant because Plant hasn't fought since obviously the Canelo loss. Obviously, so he's going to need to shake off some ring rust, isn't he? So
what's he been doing?
I'm just chilling, enjoying the Canelo money.
Oh man,
man.
I think I read that they want to get him in against Caleb Plant in November. David Morrell.
David Morrell. I know that name.
Yeah, I don't think he's high up in the rankings. So
yeah, they'll give Caleb an easy fight back. Before obviously, yeah, it won't be like a tough fight for him. Obviously, they'll be more likely to set up the David Benavidez Caleb Plant fight now that Caleb Plant's lost. Yeah,
that's a fact. But I don't know what they'll do. If they keeping Benavidez active should be key if they want to make him an attractive prospect to sell to Canelo.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Speaking of PBC, we got a fight to preview for next week. Also another PBC fight. Gervonta Davis, Rolly Romero. It's finally happening. Obviously, it was meant to happen. Was it last year or was it early this year? It was meant to happen before December time. Yeah. Romero got pulled from the card because of certain allegations that were made against him. Seems that's all cleared up now because obviously the fight's going ahead.
Yeah, best case for that one.
Yeah, he's happy he did as well because this is probably good money for him. Probably the first time he's fighting on pay-per-view, right? Yeah. I don't know what to make of this fight because obviously we've seen the build up between the two. There's a lot of bad blood between the two. Rolly's been talking a lot. I think people are I'm even seeing people suggesting that Rolly could give Tank some problems in there. I'm here to say that he won. Tank's gonna beat that boy. I'm very sure. I think Tank's gonna put the pause on that boy. Tank's gonna knock him out. I think Rolly is tailor made for Tank to knock him out because Rolly, from what I've seen of Rolly, he's not the best boxer. In fact, he's not a great boxer at all, really. I'm not trying to go in on him or anything.
Yeah, I don't.
He's not the best boxer. He's very crude in there. Comes forward, quite predictable. He's got heavy hands. Given that he can bang, he can really punch, but it's one of the ones where he kind of throws heavy shots, leaving himself open. And what, as you said before in this pod, one of Tank's bread and butters is being a counter puncher, being a devastating counter puncher with explosiveness and power. So yeah, I can see him coming forward trying to. I think he's naturally bigger than Tank, so he's probably going to try to impose his will physically. Come forward, throw some big shots, and if Tank is on his A game, which I'm hoping he should be, Tank's going to pick some wonderful counter shots and land his own bombs and night. I think that's what's going to happen with this fight. Obviously, with the needle, it makes for interesting viewing, obviously, and I do think they generally don't like each other. And obviously, Rolly's talked up a lot, so Tank might come in with serious mean intentions, to punish him. Because Tank, I don't think Tank likes him at all. So yeah, it should be. I think it's going to be an explosive, fun fight to watch. And it definitely won't go over full 12, I don't think. But yeah, I'm expecting Tank to get Rolly and get him out of there. I'll be so real.
Yeah, I expect the same. I expect Tank to win and stop him. I think this is another PBC tailor-made opponent situation.
Yeah,
I don't think Rolly Romero's. If we're talking about being ready for Tank, he's nowhere near ready.
Nowhere near.
he's not ready. Like this is a usually there's a sacrificial lamb. You will see how many fights he had, like 14.
Yeah, like 12 or something. And the caliber of opponents isn't great either.
Like he should still be having a few more learning fights before he. Yeah. Like, it's crazy that they feed him. PBC did him dirty. Did him very dirty. Like this fight should be like. If they wanted to be at least serious, like, let's see some improvements from Rolly in terms of his boxing ability. That's like 2-3 years away. But Rolly does have power. He's very awkward in his fighting style.
Yeah,
very awkward. He throws punches from weird angles. I've seen people compare him to Mayorga in terms of his fighting style.
Yeah.
He's got power. He can bang.
He can, yeah.
But yeah, and I guess the question is how emotional is Tank going to be in this fight and whatnot, and how he deals with that awkwardness. I think he deals with it fine. I guess the best role he can hope for is impressing and winning a few fans, or maybe landing a big
a la Isaac Cruz.
Shane Mosley landed one shot on Floyd Mayweather.
Oh gosh,
getting their credit for the one shot or two shots. Like maybe that's because the count Shane Mosley got from two shots.
Yeah,
on Mayweather.
I mean, to be fair to Shane, Shane was a household name before, obviously, and he's one of the best ever advertised. You know,
Shane's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
Shane's a Hall of Famer, but just in terms of the clout he gets from that,
that shot, they love winning up that shot as well. Yeah,
they love saying, "Oh yeah, you're one of the only people to have hurt Floyd." Like, and he loves it too.
Yeah. He says if I landed a couple more, I would have got him 100% got him out of there. That's what he said. I've relaxed, Shane. Come on, man.
This is boxing. Everyone gets hit, but that's the best one you can hope for. I feel.
Yeah.
Land a good shot and you can walk away proud. I guess. This is PBC at work again. There's no way this should be a pay-per-view fight. There's no way Rolly should be in there. But he can talk. Rolly can talk. That's why this has happened. Rolly's talked himself into this ass whooping, so he's got to hold it.
Shame. It is a shame what they've done to him, but it is what it is. And the fight will probably do well. Tank is doing well on the sort of pay-per-view sort of charts, I think. So I think it's going to go well for him, and it's going to be the usual, Tank is the most devastating fighter in the world, etc., etc. And they'll probably ask who he wants to fight next, if he wants to fight these other lightweights or etc. And they'll dance around that. They'll dance around that answer in the press conference, all that kind of stuff. The usual Tank. It is meant to be his last fight with Mayweather Promotions, which hopefully, fingers crossed, if that is true, that could be a really good development for Tank's career going forward in terms of him fighting who we want to see him fight. So obviously we'll wait for full confirmation with that, but hopefully that's what it brings. Hopefully leaving Mayweather Promotion means that we get to see Tank against these other guys, hopefully, but we'll see.
Makes sense. He should. We'll see what he says. Hopefully he makes a decision in a post-fight press conference. And to be fair, let me just say as well, this is boxing. Anything can happen. Anything can happen.
Oh yeah.
Because we've seen crazy stuff happen before. But anyway, I think Tank should leave. But he said himself he's not really brought any names to Mayweather Promotions that he wants to fight, which I think is crazy. So hopefully now he's more on it to make these fights, these legacy fights, because that's what they are, legacy fights. And he should go for them and give the fans what they want. Because right now he's only looking at Latino fighters.
Yeah, we said it's time ago. This is what they're on all the time. Just get him fight Latinos. Do you think Tank cares about all that stuff? In terms of legacy and being the best and winning belts and whatnot? Or do you think he's more money voted, more about the clout and whatnot?
I think what it is that Mayweather Promotions, he's beside to them. They've seen him as the golden boy for them.
Yeah. And
if Lemieux recently said that when we signed him, we promised him a world title within 12 months.
Yeah.
That was the promise.
Right.
And they delivered that in 14 months or whatever. So you can tell that's what he's after. Belts, titles. And you see him when he's going back and forth on Twitter. He wants to prove that he's the best. He says he's the best.
Yeah.
That's what these guys are in the sport to be the best. They think they're the best. They want to be the best.
No, I hear that. I hear that with some fighters, there's some motivations, obviously, when they get in originally, but obviously some, it can change. Look at Bruno, for example, who obviously would have started off being I want to be the best, etc. Yeah. And that transition to, I'm a star now, making money. I just came up making the most money. I don't really, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's once you start taking losses and your car starts getting pulled. I just think Tank has put his full trust in the fact that he's being promoted by one of the best fighters of all time, who's made the most money of all time. So he's just put full trust in him to guide his career, to make him a superstar, to make him the best fighter ever. He's just put his full trust because that's someone who's done it before. But the model has completely changed from those times in the past. And even when you look at Mayweather's route to becoming a pay-per-view star, he still had to have those marquee fights against Arturo Gatti, Zab Judah, Oscar De La Hoya before he became a pay-per-view star.
Yeah.
Tank is going down the Mike Tyson route where he's just knocking out, not bombers, but knocking out food.
Yeah.
Knocking out foods, and he's not a talker like Mayweather is, so it's not that people are paying to watch him. lose, they're paying to watch him knock people out. So he's going more down the Tyson route. So it's two different paths.
Yeah.
And these pay-per-views they're slanging us are stepped on.
Yeah, we said it before,
Isaac Cruz, and he was the first one. It was Santa Cruz.
Yeah. No, yeah.
It's like it was Santa Cruz a pay-per-view. Well, he fought after Cruz. Barrios. It was Barrios.
Barrios, yes.
Pay-per-view, crazy.
Yeah, come on. We said it. We said it. When those fights were made, we said it then, innit? But yeah.
At least Gatti Mayweather was a big deal because Gatti was a superstar.
De La Hoya Mayweather, big deal. Yeah.
Barrios and Isaac Cruz, you know.
Yeah, and now Rolando Romero. It's actually crazy. And they'll parade that that regular lightweight belt like it's the main thing. That's what it's for. It's for the regular lightweight belt. That's the one Tank has had for a couple for a while now. I think he defends that. We'll see. It's a shame that Tank isn't. Obviously, he can only be what he can be, but it's a shame that he's not more of a talker. I guess it'd be nice if he had that to his game. I guess, but he can only be what he is, isn't it? But just one day, I hope we see Tank in with these guys. Just one day, it'd be a shame not to have him there because obviously we see how highly we rate him. I remember we always say it's still crazy that we rate Tank so highly out of all these guys, despite him not really fighting the opposition that these guys fight.
Yeah,
we still have him like there, there.
Yeah, up there,
which is crazy because he hasn't fought the level that these guys have fought. But like you said, when you see something, you see it. But yeah,
he's probably the prizes of the most fights. Tevin Farmer, he kept saying, "Oh, go get a belt, get a belt." And until Tevin Farmer lost, Lomachenko.
That's what with Tank. With Tank, it's a lot. I just find it's a lot of talking and not enough action. Obviously, I cut him some slack because part of it I know is Mayweather. Obviously, when you're saying that you're keeping it in-house, we know Wagwan. So I know part of it is Mayweather. So I don't know how much to attribute to Mayweather and attribute to him. But like I said, it's a lot of back and forth, a lot of talking, and not enough action. Yeah. So I'm trying to see action. That's what I want to see from him. That's it.
Not one fight have we demanded that we've seen. Not one.
So that's when I start asking questions. Yeah, is this really work? So hopefully, obviously, if it's rumored that it is rumored that it's his last fight with Mayweather, if I'm still seeing the same pattern with him, that is in he's not with Mayweather, but he's still talking a good game, but not fighting these guys,
still tweeting,
then I'm onto him. I have to be. I'm sorry, and he's one of my favorite fighters in the world, but I've got to be onto him because it's like, what are you really here for? What are you about? But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Good luck to both fighters, but yeah, as we said, expecting a Tank KO. To be honest, they couldn't have picked the most perfect. They could have. This is like the perfect fight to pick for Tank. It really is. It really is. But yeah, man. I think that wraps up this week. I don't think I missed anything else. Yeah, another great week of action. Look forward to next week. Once again, I've been your boy Kam. It's been episode 91 of the Strap SZN Podcast.
Boy Flowz.
And make sure you keep rocking with us. Peace.
I'm taking the strap. I'm strapped up.
What was that about?
Let's make the fight happen. We strapped the fuck up.